The Raptors are obnoxiously mediocre, and we're sick of it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Raptors NBA podcast. We are your hosts, Alex Droman and Andy Redding. Andy and I went to the game last night against the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Raptors get blown out when Milwaukee doesn't have Giannis on the court. Andy, we were sitting up there. We were sick of it. What are your thoughts about the game?
We were so sick of it that I had to convince you not to leave. You were on the verge of leaving that game in the third quarter.
We were down 20. We were going to be down 25. It was despicable. We came back and we were almost down 30.
It was embarrassing. There were other better games on TV last night that we could have been spending our time watching, and we're stuck there with this mediocre team. Yeah, it was embarrassing. I'm sick of it. This is going to be an angsty pod.
In the beginning of the second quarter, Dame had 20 points. He already had 20. And we're looking at him. It seemed like all of his points were coming so easily. He just goes to the rim, gets fouled. Nobody can guard him. Nobody's even coming close. Step back jumpers. Dame was going off. And I was like, man, do we have anybody who can possibly defend him? Even with Scottie on him. God bless Scottie's soul. He was our only bright spot. Dame just went absolutely crazy on us. He dropped 37 points. That's the first thing I want to talk about. Dame, 37 points, 13 assists, 4 boards. He almost got to 40. We were waiting for him to get to 40. I wanted to take a video of it. He didn't. But he's incredible on that team. Way better than I thought he was going to be.
It's almost like he's used to not playing with anybody. Like he went off last night for 37, playing with nobody. He's still not comfortable with Giannis on the court with him. I think they'll grow and be dominant together, but yeah, when he's by himself, he's a beast.
Okay, but he still had Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton, how many did he drop? He only had 11, so whatever. It wasn't the best line for him. But you know who was going off for them was Malik Beasley. I felt like every time that Dame drove into the lane, Malik Beasley was standing in the corner waiting for that 3-point shot. He dropped 30 last night as well. 30, 0 assists, 4 rebounds. He was just getting every dime from Damian Lillard. To me, it seems like Dame is going to be really tough to stop in the playoffs. Granted, we're going to talk about the other two monsters in the East later on this podcast. But I think, once they do start clicking, him and Giannis, this team's going to be even more difficult to stop. 37-13, it didn't even seem like he was really even trying that hard. The Raptors are mediocre.
128 points to a Giannis-less Bucks. Absolutely embarrassing. Do you have any Raptors-related takeaways from this?
I just feel like this really exposed how weak defensively we are on the wings. Dennis Schroeder, God bless his soul as well, pretty good defense on a lot of people. But against elite point guards like Dame, he couldn't keep him in front of him, There's nobody on our team that could guard Dame. And it just seemed like our defense on the wing without OG, keep in mind, was really weak.
Yeah, OG.
Horrible.
Shows how valuable OG is. Really does. One guy, both of us, I think I finally convinced you this guy is struggling on both sides of the ball, offensively, defensively. Jakob Poeltl. He's a 0 on offense. He just doesn't even look at the rim, doesn't take shots, and he's getting cooked on defense last night too. He didn't really provide much, did he?
Cooked. Here's the thing about Jakob. Jakob's points and boards will be there. Low points, 13 points, 11 boards. But one thing we did notice, exactly like you're saying, is that when he's at the top of the key or at the free throw extended, he doesn't shoot and he doesn't even look at the rim. He's not even looking at the rim. So it's like we can't have a guy who's at the top completely open be a complete non-threat. So I don't know what he needs to do. He needs to maybe get back in the gym and shoot some short jumpers. Like, I don't think it'd be that difficult for him to develop one of those, or even like a little, just a little push shot. Just throw it at the rim. It just seemed like he was 5-6 feet from the rim, not even attempting a shot. Having said that, though, still 13 points and 11 boards. That old Jonas Valanciunas line. A lot of the points that he gets are like literally right at the rim or off of his own misses.
But can't any center in the league, any average mediocre center, get 10 and 10 a game? Like, he's just a mediocre dude, is he not?
I think he's a stable dude. I don't think he's a mediocre dude. I think he's a little bit better than that. He's in the top. What would you say? Centers in the league. Yeah. Where would you put him?
Top 20.
Top 20 is still pretty good. Top 20 centers in the league. That's not bad.
Do you trade?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I get to, and it's really, really getting to me. It's time for Masai Ujiri to take some heat. Why did he trade a first-round pick for him last year? Could have signed him as a free agent one. Could have traded for someone else who fits this team better. Masai Ujiri is not taking any flack, and it's time he does.
So I'll be honest with you. Right when you started that initially, I thought you were going to be talking about Grady Dick because we saw it being horrible. But now that you're on this topic, I'll push back. I think it was still good. The only thing he's missing is offense, but he still grabs rebounds and he does put up a double-double every night. He's averaging pretty much a double-double. So I don't think that was a bad trade. Could we have gotten him in the offseason? I'm sure we could have. Could another team have paid more for him? That's another option. I just think it's good to have a top 20 center in the league.
There's always a top 20 center available in free agency that you could sign. There's always is.
Okay.
And they overpaid for him and gave up a first-round pick.
You might be right.
And it could be a top 10 pick the way they're playing right now.
You might be right. We're just slightly under 500. We're 5-6. But to the point of mediocrity, we are mediocre at best. It seems like we have to do something about this. I don't think the Jakob thing is the biggest issue on our team. I think we're mediocre all around other than our two bright spots, which are
Scottie Barnes and Scottie Barnes.
I like that one. I like that one.
Cheesy.
It was cheesy, but it was good. I was going to say Scottie Barnes and OG Anunoby. And again, we're discounting Pascal Siakam for some reason again, but he seemed like, what was his line yesterday? This is exactly what I was talking about. 11 points, 7 boards, 5 assists, because the Milwaukee Bucks have a guy like Brook Lopez in the paint. I'm telling you, he struggles against these ultra big guys. Against other teams that are like don't have too many bigs, Siakam goes off.
I think this relates to Jakob Poeltl, though. You have Jakob Poeltl, a guy who can't play the three-point line. He has to be in the paint. He's clogging the paint. Pascal can't spin his way into the paint when Poeltl's there. Like, he just clogs it up every time. And no one's going to guard Poeltl at the foul line or the three-point line because he can't shoot. It's terrible roster construction that is impacting Pascal Siakam this year.
I see what you're saying. I think they have had really good moments together, but again, they only have good moments together when they're playing against teams that don't have dominant bigs. So that's what it is. Do you have anything else to say about mediocrity or Jakob?
Do I? No.
Listen, we can exactly. We can literally talk about this all day. We were so frustrated yesterday. Before the game, I sent Andy a screenshot that I laid down $100 on the Raptors prior to the game because we saw that Giannis was out and Milwaukee was still favored. So I was like, oh, we're going to the Raptors are going to beat this team if Giannis is out. What happens? We're up 8-2. I'm feeling excited. They call a timeout, 11-0 run. Now the Raptors are down, and it just continued from there. Game over, yeah. So really frustrating. We're frustrated with them. Seeing this mediocrity, 5-6 record, very annoying.
Okay, so they're mediocre. We know this. We're frustrated. We're watching this team. We don't know the direction of this team. It seems questionable. Rumors, reports, commentators coming out, the Zach LaVine trade rumors.
Ooh, spicy.
Zach Lowe saying only 2 teams should trade for him, the Lakers and the Raptors. Does that make sense to you?
The first thing I go to is, first of all, I don't fully know exactly what his contract looks like, but who are you giving up for Zach LaVine?
It would probably involve more first-round picks, which Masai Ujiri likes to throw away recently.
So we looked at this. Zach Lowe said he won't be a primary decision-maker, defenders all around him. They have a lot of salary that they could put together that's not long-term. Gary Trent Jr., Chris Boucher, Thaddeus Young, that's close enough to a salary match for Toronto to get there. That's $38 million. So that's what he said. By the way, it is pretty crazy that we have Gary Trent Jr., Chris Boucher, Thaddeus Young for $38 million a year.
Crazy in a good way or a bad way?
Bad way. I think that's a lot of money for those three guys. Don't you think?
Probably. Yeah. That's probably a problem with this team.
That they won't be pushing the luxury tax, saves more money for Chicago and throws a couple picks back. Chicago fans won't be excited about that, but whatever. Sorry. I don't know. Is Chicago a win now team? I don't think that they're willing to give up Zach LaVine for a few guys and a couple of picks way down the line. I think they're a win now team as well.
Or are they the same as the Raptors?
Hey, I would love Zach LaVine on our team.
Guy who can shoot.
A guy who can shoot, goes hard at the rim, high flyer.
So you're saying you want this? You think now's the time to make a move for this guy, for a star?
I would love that. As long as we're not giving up Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, or Scottie Barnes. What do you think?
Wait, you say stop it?
I say stop it.
So you think now, it's a bad idea?
Now is not the time to make moves for this year. It's time to make moves for next year and the next year when Scottie is even better, when you can have younger guys around him. I don't think Pascal is part of the future of this team.
So you're saying trade Pascal?
Yeah, and don't acquire a current star.
So trade him for picks.
Do like this would be a dream, but like when the when the Pacers acquired Halliburton for Sabonis, like get a younger guy with a lot of upside, trade your current star. That's the dream.
Again, I think you're discounting how good Pascal Siakam is.
He is good, and that's the thing. You can get a lot for him right now. So you make the move now. The Raptors aren't going to win this year. We're so frustrated with the obnoxious mediocrity.
We keep saying mediocrity. No, you're right. I don't know, man. I don't know anymore because yesterday I was 100% convinced that the Raptors were going to take it. Boom, we lose. Speaking of Zach LaVine, just a quick little side note. Do you remember when we saw him outside of the Rogers Center after the 2016 Young Rising Stars game?
Yes. Yeah, it was on one of the coldest days, I swear, in Toronto history. I swear it was like minus 25.
One of the coldest days in Toronto history. We leave the club, whatever club or bar we were at, right?
Real Sports. It wasn't a club.
Real Sports, whatever. For those that don't know, Real Sports is a big bar lounge downtown right beside the Scotiabank Arena. But we left at like 2-3 in the morning and we see Zach LaVine running outside of the arena, just like by himself, get into a van and drive away. We're not sure where he was. If he was in where were you going, Zach? Anyways, I've loved Zach LaVine ever since I saw him outside that Scotiabank Arena. No, ever since he dominated that dunk contest. Sorry, we can't say dominate. Aaron Gordon might have won the second one. Anyways, moving on. What's your next takeaway from that beautiful game last night? Only bright spot on the team, Scottie Barnes yesterday. I have to mention it. Good line, 29 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. Really good on the drives, went to the rim hard. Handles are getting better by the day, it seems like. It seems like he's really working on his dribbling skills. Pull-ups, he's been hitting some threes, plays really good defense on everyone other than Damian Lillard. It's crazy. Scottie's just down low in his stance. Dame just looks at him, blows right by him, gets fouled, goes to the rim, goes to the line, hits 2 free throws. It's like that happened on anybody who was playing D on Damian Lillard. But bright spot. What'd you think of his game last night?
To me, it's not his handles that's impressive. It's how he's just like a bully. He just backs down in the paint. He can get to the rim. He's stronger than everyone. He's stronger than Brook Lopez. Who's a really strong dude. He's a man. He's a dog. He's a dog. He's the dog of the day. We got to go back to.
He's not the dog of the day today.
He's not the Raptors dog of the day.
He's the Raptors dog of the day. I thought you meant like full overall dog of the day. That's Dame. It has to be Dame.
Yeah.
Scottie, by the way, 3 for 3 from the 3-point line.
Shout out. We need that shooting.
Yep.
Let's go back to our preview podcast before the season started. You had one thing very right and one thing very wrong.
Yeah.
One thing you had wrong was that the Raptors are going to be a good, solid playoff team. Extremely wrong. But one thing that I doubted you on, and I must apologize. You said Scottie Barnes was going to be an all-star.
Yeah.
I think he has to be at this point. He's putting up 25 points at will. He's the best player on the court. Most games he plays. I think he has to be an all-star. So I apologize profusely for doubting.
Say it again.
I apologize profusely
To Scottie.
to you and Scottie and the Barnes family, except for his cousin who we met.
In LA. Let's not get into there. So you apologize to me.
Yes.
And Scottie.
And his family, most of his family.
Say it again.
I've already said it.
Say it again. No kidding. Okay. My next point here. Sorry. This isn't a full thing that I want to talk about. But Jalen McDaniels plus 21. Plus 21. He was the only Raptor in double-digit plus minus, because you guys know how much we love that stat. Plus 21. Didn't shoot very well, but 18 minutes plus 21. Had 7 points. The guy makes plays. Makes plays. That's a clear sign. Maybe we should play him over Grady Dick.
Oh, God, you said it.
I said it.
Grady Dick's first career start. Got it on film. So excited. It was introduced as Mr. Big Energy. Didn't want to say the Mr. Big Dick Energy, but great introduction, and then it was all downhill.
Grady Dick's line. 11 points. 2 assists. That's it. In 26 minutes. Field goals, he went 2 for 10. Here's the thing about Grady Dick. Right now, it seems like the pace of the game is a little bit too fast for him. He's frantic with the ball. Every time he gets it, he just kind of seems like he doesn't know where he's going. Doesn't get to his spots. Dribbles a little bit too much. Or doesn't dribble for a purpose. He kind of dribbles in one place. I don't know. I agree with you. Not the best look right now.
Is the worst defender on the Bucks, and he was guarding Grady for most of the night, and Grady just looked outmatched. He couldn't take on the worst defender in the Bucks. Even the box score doesn't do the justice. He was just throwing away balls, like going up on his feet and just throwing them away. He was bad.
Tied for the worst plus minus on the team last night at minus 29.
I hope it's his first and last start of the year. The Raptors are, as we said, excruciating, mediocre team. And it's because you have guys like Grady Dick starting. He should be in the G League. I'm going to keep saying this until it happens. Masai, I'm on to you. Put him in the G League.
Once again, we're going to mention it once again. The Raptors are excruciatingly, painfully, erratically mediocre. Just more adjectives. You're right. Listen, you've been on this from the beginning. I think the second game you mentioned that. I'm not sure if it was on the podcast, but you said Grady Dick needs to go to the G League. He needs to take some shots. I don't know. I'm starting to agree with you. Yesterday, he just seemed like he was all over the place. He hit that one shot coming off the screen. It was a good look. Yeah. I don't know. It seemed like his looks were just bad. 6 for 6 from the free throw line, though, Andrew. Shut up. Okay. Next.
You got anything else on the Raptors?
Couple of small things. Our boy Marquise Noel.
NBA debut.
Hit his first points in the league from the free throw line. Dribbles into the lane. He gets blocked on the first play. It was pretty bad. But then afterwards, he had a couple of nice assists, nice passes.
Well, nice assists. His first career assist was a behind-the-back assist. He's a little showtime in him.
Yeah, showtime in him. But yeah, first ever points in the league. We have to give a big shout out to Marquise Noel. Congrats.
I thought he kind of created some havoc. I'd rather have him on the court than Grady at this point.
Oof. Strong take.
He can get things happening. He's got a good handle. That's his main skill. The Raptors don't.
He just can't shoot the ball. And we were talking about this last night. We were there. Just seeing him in person about how small he is on the floor, it just shows you that you have to be a real dog to be 5'9" and be in the NBA.
Is he your dog of the day?
No. Another little quick shout out was Garrett Temple hitting a 3. The best dressed man on the Raptors, hands down. Comes in, bangs a 3, leaves, probably goes home, gets dressed, goes to his suit person, Fresh outfit every time I've seen him on the floor or out off the floor. Every single time. Shout out to Garrett Temple.
Just clocking in, clocking out. 3 points. 1 for 1. Didn't miss a shot.
Perfect from
On
the
and
field.
off the court. He did not miss a shot.
Did we mention that the Raptors are mediocre? Or
Painfully.
okay. Anything else on the Raptors? Listen, by the way, we can talk about how mediocre they were and have been all season for this whole podcast. But my dad texted. It's so funny. We were down 20, and they were looking like they were gonna go on a run. Remember this? And they were plus 3,000 at one point on the score bet.
And you placed a live bet.
And I laid down a little $10 live bet. Obviously didn't work out. And the only reason I did that is because my dad, shout out to Anatoly, he texted me being like, you're not going to get as lucky as you did last time if you made a bet. And then I was like, oh, yeah? Well, watch me. And then boom, lost. Mediocre.
A defiant son. Your dad tries to tell you not to bet and you still do.
I'm like, stop talking like that, Dad. I'll do what I want, Dad. What else?
Okay.
Okay.
Enough of the Raptors.
Enough.
Why enough of the Raptors? Because they're excruciatingly mediocre. Okay.
Excruciatingly, painfully mediocre.
Tediously mediocre.
Just a tediously mediocre team.
Okay. Rest of the NBA. Did you see anything in the last night or two from the rest of the NBA that caught your eye? Any fights? Any great games?
So yesterday, we're sitting there watching the game, and I asked Andy, I'm like, man, should we talk about the fight, the Draymond Green fight? And he's like, I don't know. Do you think it's still timely? And let me know the joke that you said at work. What was the joke you said at work?
Do you want to hear that?
Yeah. What was the joke you said at work? Or is that too...
Someone at work.
Oh, that's so bad.
No, sorry.
No.
Why are you asking for this?
No, I'm just saying, like, is it still timely? Look, Draymond Green is a menace. He's an absolute menace. You see how he was talking to Ant? You see that him and Gobert have been going back for years. Ever since Gobert did make the All-Star team and he cried. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, yeah. They've got a...
So he cried. Then Draymond Green sends out a tweet saying, I didn't make the All-Star team either, but at least I didn't cry, or something along those lines. They've been going back and forth. I don't know. I thought, look, I love Draymond. I love him. He's the type of guy. He's like Patrick Beverly. We'll love him on your team, hate when he's off your team. But obviously you don't just put some guy in a chokehold and try to drag him. That's a little...
5 game suspension warranted?
Yeah, it is.
That's the punk move to chokehold a guy.
Also, none of the Timberwolves players came back at Draymond. Somebody should have dragged him off of Rudy. That's what I thought. Ant was standing right there. Cat was standing right there. Either of them two could have dragged Draymond off of Rudy, but neither of them touched him. So that's the one thing I was like, do they like Rudy? I don't know. Like, imagine if we were playing a pickup game and somebody dragged you by your neck. Do you know what happened to that guy? Do you know what I would do?
No one would be able to drag me by the neck.
Nobody. You're too big.
Big Andy's too big. But what would you do if...
We should post that video of when we dominated those two guys on the floor the other day.
Yes.
It was dominance.
Pure dominance. Excruciating dominance.
We're not mediocre together. The Raptors.
No one helped out Rudy, which
No.
leads me to believe, and I think we knew this, Cat is not a dog.
Well, the one thing that we have seen is that is now Anthony Edwards' team. It's not Cat's team anymore. It's Ant's team. That guy's a monster. But one thing I will say is that Cat seems like he's buying into the whole system. He seems like he's okay with taking the back seat to this kid because he seems like he's next up.
The alpha of the team.
The absolute alpha.
They've had a good year since that first game. I don't know how they lost the first game of the year to the Raptors. They've been really good since then. Ant's gone off.
The two big guys that you and I have been talking about since 2015, 2016. Both betas. Is that bad to say?
One's won a chip, though. That's why I win the bet.
I know, but he...
Okay.
Doesn't matter. He had LeBron.
Raptors NBA podcast listeners. Who is better? We've been debating this for 8 years now. Cat or AD? It's clearly AD.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Raptors NBA Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Raptors NBA Podcast, TikTok. We almost have 200 followers on TikTok. Instagram are not doing as well, but we are going to be posting a lot more on Instagram as well. So follow us on everything. Thank you for watching and listening. Have a great day.